That one's about to put me to sleep. Okay, what up, Claytriots? It's your boy, Technically Clay, streaming at you from sunny St. Louis, Missouri. It is pretty nice out. It's a little bit brisk, but you know what? It's not too bad. I just went out and got a couple groceries because I was lazy this past weekend and did not do it. So, yeah, it's not too bad out. It's not too bad out today. Um, let's see. Personal news since the last time you saw me. I watched some Stargate. I think I played some more Slay the Spire. Um, Man, I've been doing the same stuff a lot lately. And then I went to bed, woke up. This week has been really bad for workouts for me. I haven't worked out once since like what, Friday, maybe Saturday, Friday, I think. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just really not I didn't sleep that great last night. I wasn't feeling it. I needed a nap. And also I'm pretty, I guess, a little bit stressed out because my cat, we're going to be taking her to um a vet that's like 3 hours away pretty soon. And so, you know, we're gonna have to, she doesn't do that great in cars and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm just like, you know, there's a lot on my mind. So it's okay if I don't work out every once in a while. It's fine, people, okay? It's fine. You can't make fun of me, okay? But anyway, let's see. So that is all the personal news. So I guess, you know what? I'm about ready to hop right into it. I'm going again with the Fitz's Rocket Pop today, the neon blue. You know, it's been growing on me, so that's what I'm going to be drinking today. And, you know, with that being said, the news, it just won't stop, man. It just won't stop. I thought we were done with Iran like 3 weeks ago. We already won, but somehow it keeps going on, and somehow we keep making threats, even though we already won and the regime has changed and we've accomplished everything that we've wanted out of the war. For some reason, it just keeps going on and we keep getting more threats. So the most recent threat is supposed to expire today at 8 o'clock p.m. As far as I know, it is still there. As far as I know. Yeah. And Trump has been, you know, tweeting up a storm about this one. It's been getting real gross, real gross for an American president to be saying the shit that he's saying. But we're going to go ahead and start with this video. This is, I think, his most recent post about the deadline tonight. So this is Trump threatens a whole civilization will die tonight ahead of Iran deadline. Not genocidal at all. Don't say that. It's not. He swears. Okay, let's go.
The entire 6 weeks of this conflict, we have never heard President Donald Trump use words like this. Ahead of his deadline to escalate the war with Iran, he's appearing to go further than he ever.
We've heard him use words in the same vein as this. This is probably the most like blatant that he's been about his, you know, the genocidal tactics that he's using to try to accomplish his like military goals. But yeah,
ever has before. Let's take a look. He says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. He goes on to say, I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Trump is threatening to destroy all of Iran's power plants and other vital infrastructure unless there is a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's bring in Willie Lowry to talk about this. Willie, this is perhaps the strongest words that we've heard from.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that it's like hard to even think about at this point about the concept of war crimes, but these are all war crimes. Like, we shouldn't forget that these are war crimes under the Geneva Convention, even if they, you know, even if that we're kind of living in the post-international law world, the post-Gaza world, right, where, you know, it's just might makes right, and there's not really so much as like of a thing as war crimes. Like, they, you know, they should not be allowed to say things like this, and they should all be prosecuted and thrown in the Hague for this. But because we allowed Israel to do it, this is just the new norm going forward. So
from the president. This is a president, though, who in his time in politics and in business has often used very strong threats to try to get his own way. Is that the play for capitulation here?
David, you can only imagine that it is. I think it is all part of his negotiating tactics. If you go back to the art of the deal, kind of exerting that maximum pressure.
Dude, it's so fucking annoying that people they have to read Art of the Deal to like try and understand what what the fuck Donald Trump is thinking. And that was a ghostwritten book anyway or whatever, but it's I don't know. That's kind of hilarious that we have to treat that as some sort of holy reference Bible of what our dear leader is going to do in the face of actual real shit that matters, like war. That's ridiculous.
To the art of the deal, kind of exerting that maximum pressure to get what you want from your adversaries. Now, all of the rhetoric out of the White House, including that post on social media earlier this morning, points to this 8 p.m. deadline as being set in stone. But as we just mentioned, all of that being said, it's clearly an effort, a part of the U.S. Administration's negotiating tactics as they look for ways to try and pressure Iran into capitulating. Important to note, though, David, that thus far that has not happened.
Yeah.
And mediators led by Pakistan have yet to be able to bring the two sides close enough.
And most analysts don't think that this will change anything either. It's just if they go for okay, there's two ways you could read it, right? If they go for the energy infrastructure and all that sort of stuff, Iran is just going to retaliate in kind. And, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh will cease to exist as a city. They're going to have to evacuate it because they're going to hit the desalination plants and nobody's going to be able to live there for the foreseeable future. So Iran's going to hit a bunch of stuff. They'll probably hit Israel's refineries and stuff as well. My understanding is that Israel has 8 to 10 or so natural gas refineries. Or storage. I don't really know exactly what it is, but if those got taken out, then Israel would be left without power as well. So, there's things that are probably going to happen in that situation, in retaliation. And obviously there will be, significant suffering for the Iranian people. We should never forget that. But the war crimes that we do and the civilians that we target, targeting civilian infrastructure does not in any way lead to strategic outcomes in war. Iran is doing it, I think, solely as a you're going to do this, then we're going to do this. Just trying to follow America up the escalation ladder or whatever. But I don't think they think that actually hitting civilian infrastructure is going to necessarily lead to strategic outcomes for them. They care more about hitting the actual military sites and military bases and, attriting America's stockpiles until they run out so that they can hit those sites and stuff even more. And keeping the Israelis going in and out of bomb shelters 24/7, 365 days a year. I think that those are where they see they will have strategic success. America and Israel really get lost in the sauce where they just think that the more civilians we kill, the more strategic victory we'll have. But it didn't work for Israel in Gaza. It didn't work for Israel in Lebanon. If you can't actually take out the military members and the military infrastructure that they have, for instance, in Hamas's case, it's the tunnels. And obviously the organization itself, which has more members than it ever has in its entire history, then you're not going to be able to strategically defeat them. Same with Hezbollah or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks that the civilians of Iran are going to have to suffer through a lot of this if he does actually go through with it and doesn't taco. But, it unfortunately, there is the silver lining is that I don't think it will succeed in doing what they want.
Together,
which is complete and total capitulation, which is a ridiculous thing to a ridiculous thing for an emerging world to ask of an emerging world power like Iran. Iran has so many cards and is in such a good position right now. Why would they ever take that?
A ceasefire is feasible. But Trump does say that any deal would likely require Iran to allow the safe passage of oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Let's take a brief listen to the president speaking to reporters yesterday.
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil and everything else.
Why would they agree to that, though?
Has repeatedly threatened to target civilians.
I keep asking, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do about it? You weren't able to open it up yet. Targeting civilian infrastructure isn't going to change anything about that. The only thing you could possibly do is do a full ground occupation. And I don't think you're going to do that. So, I mean, maybe they'll do a full Iraq-style occupation for decades, but I don't think we have the political will here in America. So I really just don't think that that's going to happen. No matter what they do, like, that's not going to happen as far as I can tell.
Civilian infrastructure and send Iran back to the Stone Ages. Again, what we're trying to figure out right now is this simply rhetoric and negotiation tactics, or is this something that he is willing to actually do?
And Willie, the president.
So I'm kind of hoping that he tacos on this. Or, I mean, obviously I'm hoping that he tacos. Like Trump always chickens out or whatever. The reason that I think there's a possibility that he does punt it down the road again, like he has, the 5 previous times that he said that he's going to do this, is because once you do that, then it's no longer a months long impact to energy prices, like particularly in America and around the world. It then becomes a years long impact, a global, it would probably send basically, it would almost guarantee a global depression at that point, if he did decide to do it. So because of Iran's response. So that's why I'm kind of thinking he'll chicken out, but honestly, I don't really know. He might go for it. I also was a little surprised with the timing, because usually he always waits till a Friday. That's why I always say pray to the markets every Friday, that the markets will prevent us from getting further embedded in this war over the weekend, while the markets are closed. But so that's another thing that would surprise me, is that he would choose to do it on a Tuesday in the middle of the week when markets are open. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I'd say I'm not very much. I'd say I'm 60-40 that he'll let this deadline pass and this won't happen. But there's definitely a real possibility that he does, though.
Has been quite explicit about what he would target tonight if capitulation on the Strait doesn't occur. He's talked about power plants. He's talked about bridges. There are arguments those would be civilian infrastructure, and questions about whether that would constitute a war crime.
Okay. No, they objectively are. People, you need to, if you're going to report, you need to say objective reality, or else no one is going to believe you. That's why these people lose all of their credibility, is because as soon as someone says, oh, it's not actually civilian infrastructure, like the president says, the people who are trying to do the war crime say it's actually not a war crime, then these people feel obligated to pretend like they should take that seriously. And that's exactly why they lose all of their credibility in the media. They need to be able to say, if you're going to do this, be and the people who obviously want, the Trump administration, which obviously wants to commit all these war crimes, has told us that actually it's not civilian infrastructure. Then you're being objective, because you're stating exactly why their biases and why you shouldn't believe their biases. But that's silly. That's silly.
Yeah, absolutely, David. This is a major component of the discourse here in Washington this morning. Democrats have been very vocal about their concerns. Targeting civilian infrastructure can be a violation of international law, which prohibits the specific targeting of civilian energy infrastructure in particular, for the purpose of forcing an adversary to negotiate. Now, Trump has brushed aside any concerns that he may be committing war crimes if he follows through with these threats. Let's take a brief listen to quite a remarkable exchange he had with a New York Times reporter yesterday in the White House.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to war crimes?
No, not at all. No, I'm not. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators, and because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Now, some in the military establishment believe that these targets are fair game because they are dual use, meaning the military.
Oh, God. Dual use shit again. We heard this all in Gaza, man. It's just blatant. They shouldn't even take, like, this is why I'm saying the media loses all of their credibility, and why people come and tune into more objective people like me, because I don't have to go and pretend like the things that the people who want to do war crimes are, like, that they say, oh, it's actually not a war crime. I don't have to go out there and pretend like what they're saying is like valid in any way. These people, they feel like they have to do that. And that's why, like, they don't have any fucking credibility. You gotta stop. If you want people to watch straight, like, real news, then you gotta stop doing this shit.
Also uses and relies on them. Let's take a brief listen to retired U.S. Admiral Andy Loisel.
People will call some of these targets civilian targets, but they're in effect dual-use targets. Obviously, they benefit civilians, but they also provide the power to run any of the military systems that they have remaining left of them.
That's not what... There's no such thing as dual use targets. Everything is dual use. Everything can be used for anything. Like, that's so stupid. Like, I don't know. If it is used to power civilian infrastructure at all for any reason, no matter whether it's used for other military means or not, then yes, it is a piece of civilian infrastructure and cannot be targeted under international law. I'm sorry. That is just the facts. But here, go ahead and tell me why you can just pretend and make up why that's not true whenever you feel like it because you're America. Like, go ahead.
And then any of those bridges are also military supply routes as well. So I would refer to them as dual use targets.
Now, David,
yeah, just like the tents that they were trying to get into Gaza to house people, those were dual use according to Israelis. Yeah. Okay, sure.
The chances of the international
they found the propaganda
court
they found the propaganda words that worked, I guess, and now they're just gonna, shovel them all down our fucking throats like they did in Gaza. Yeah,
pursuing charges against the Trump administration, if it carries through with these threats, are next to zero. The U.S. is not a member of the court and has long had a very, very complicated relationship with it.
Willie Lowry, thank you very much. Now, one key area under attack this morning is Iran's Kharg Island, where 90% of Iran's oil exports occur. This is also an area Donald Trump has threatened to invade with ground troops. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance confirming the airstrikes, but also downplaying them.
Okay, I've got a whole other video for the Kharg Island stuff, so I'm just gonna pause it here and end this video. I wasn't expecting the media framing on this stuff to be so shit, to be honest. I don't watch, I guess, CBC News that often. So Radio Canada, it says it's Canadian. So I kind of expected it to be a little bit better than it was. But yeah, I don't know. This whole, like I said, I'm like 60-40 if he's going to do it. I'll be raiding during that time period. So I won't be able to, I won't be able to stream whatever's happening. So, but I'll catch up with it tomorrow if anything actually does happen. Okay, so yeah, let's move on. They were talking about Kharg Island. Oh yeah, I know where we are. We're in Fox News town, baby. They got Operation Epstein Fury just right out here. They got the Israeli flag that is slowly consuming the American flag. That can't be symbolic for anything, am I right, people? Okay, let's go ahead and watch this one. This is U.S. hammers Kharg Island. Grab Iran by the economic throat. Okay. Cool name.
I would say it's a very big priority because, see, that's one thing that's a little different than other things. We can bomb the hell out of them. We can knock them out for a loop. But to close the strait, all you need is one terrorist that somehow has a truck loaded with, because you can carry them in trucks, large trucks, a water mine, drop them in the water.
Well, that, but also you just need one drone. Like if they just have one drone, which estimates are that they have hundreds of thousands of them. If they just have one drone that they can send, then they can shut it down. Like that's all they need. And I'm sure they're still producing drones as we speak. So I don't really think, like I said before, I don't really think there's much you can do about the strait.
And now you tell people that own ships that cost $1 billion to don't worry about the mine. You can do that even just by saying we put mines in the water.
Right now, deadline day in Iran, the terror regime has a little more than 12 hours to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or get blown up to the Stone Ages. As moments ago, Iran state media reporting the IRGC threatening to strike U.S. infrastructure and withhold oil and gas for years. Our next guest knows all about fighting the war on terror in the Middle East. Retired Navy commander and former USS Cole
Fighting
commander.
the war, you mean losing the war on terror? Creating more quote unquote terrorists than there have ever been before the war on terror? You mean that war that we objectively lost in its entirety? Okay, cool. Let's see what he has to say. I'm sure he'll have great takes. I'm sure that, he'll take all of the stuff, all of the failures of the war on terror, all of the terrible things that we did that created more terrorism all across the world, that just essentially multiplied it like tenfold and spread it throughout the entire region. Yeah, I'm sure that he's learned a ton from those failures, and he's not just going to repeat all of the exact same shit for this one. Yeah, let's see.
Kurt Lippold joins us. And Commander Lippold, thank you for your insight. You just heard President Trump talking there about a small mine could do so much damage and paralyze that strait. You well know Iranians likely behind the attack on the coal. Talk me through the dangers that Iran still poses to the strait.
Well, good morning, Griff. And one of the issues you have to look at is not only the mines themselves, but to a degree, it's also information warfare. The fact that they can announce they even have that capability is enough to give ships pause. And what you're seeing the Iranian regime do is actually throttle and control an international waterway, which cannot be allowed. I mean, the bottom line is, regardless of how other nations feel about President Trump's correct decision to attack Iran, to make them accountable for what they have done for decades in killing thousands and in building and trying to build a nuclear weapon with ballistic missiles. The bottom line is that strait needs to be opened. And he is absolutely correct in saying, we will do whatever it takes to get the Iranians to have free passage of ships through the Strait.
So, okay, but yeah, so that's the whole outline of the international world order that was created after World War II, was that America was going to be responsible for securing all of the waterways for free trade. Like, that was how it was. It wasn't some global thing. It was America will be in charge of securing all the waterways. So it's not really up to anybody else. It's up to you guys. It's up to America to do that. The other people aren't going to do that, like, because obviously if America can't do it, then nobody can. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to say.
And other areas in the Middle East.
You were in command of USS Cole when a small boat of Iranian-backed terrorists simply came up to the ship and caused the devastation and death that they did. How difficult will it be to stop something like that happening in the strait now?
Well, I think what you have to look at, Griff, is first I would have to make one minor correction, and that is that it was Al-Qaeda when they did it, but it's clearly...
Yeah, I was going to say, he said Iranian-backed. Al-Qaeda and Iran were like... didn't they go to war with each other? Weren't they on the opposite sides of conflict? Like, yeah, that seems like that just seems completely wrong. I was trying to look it up because I was thinking that wasn't Iran. Like, I was pretty sure it wasn't like Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis or anything that did that. And yeah, it was Al-Qaeda. So they just got that completely wrong.
It's been proven that Iran and Al-Qaeda worked together and supported each other. That's where you get the thread connecting the two of them together. But
wait, what? Am I wrong? Iran... war. I thought that they were like at war for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe there's a complex relationship between them. The article that I just read is like Iran's allies and proxies are often at war with Al Qaeda, but at the same time, they host senior Al Qaeda leaders. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Because yeah, because Bin Laden, I thought went to war with Iran. I don't know. Maybe I'm or not Bin Laden. Saddam. I don't know. I get all of them. I get it all pretty confused in my head. So I don't know. I don't know it. Uh, I need to probably read more up on that. But okay.
At the end of the day, that boat coming up to USS Cole, we had nothing in our intelligence community at all to indicate that we were going to face the threat of a waterborne improvised explosive device. Today, what really has to happen is we need to create the conditions for persistent surveillance over the Strait of Hormuz and off the shores of all those small islands, Larak, Kesh, and others, to ensure that if anything comes out from there, or we see any preparations to launch, mines or otherwise, they should be absolutely destroyed and done quickly. So having that capability exist has got to be a priority for the administration. And it has been part of the war plan, but now we're seeing where it has to actually be implemented.
How are you going to do that though? How are you going to do that? Because they're already currently in the process of destroying like all of America's bases and surveillance and GPS like stations and all that sort of stuff, like targeting bases. They're destroying the shit out of them all across the region. Like I don't understand how you're gonna do this. But oh, hello, Mem. Thank you for technically watching your stream. I hope you're technically enjoying it.
How important is it that Gulf states who seem to be indicating they may be willing to help open the strait, and also NATO countries, how important is it that other countries help us?
I think at this point, it's absolutely critical. Again, going back to what I said, whether you agree or disagree with the decision to move forward with this conflict, with President Trump being absolutely right in doing it. If not now, when? And if not, how many lives? Give me a number. But at the end of the day, these other countries becoming involved, NATO, the Middle East countries.
That's not the deal. That's not the post-World War II deal. The deal was that America would secure the international waterways around the world. That was the deal that everyone bought into. That is why they all signed on to becoming vassals, like nice little vassals for America, buying into global capitalism, hollowing out their manufacturing, all of them kind of following America, like good little dogs. That was the whole deal, was that they would all support America in everything it does in all political situations. And in exchange, America would secure the international waterways. So if America can't do that anymore, then that entire post-World War II order that they have created, that we have created, that we have set up for ourselves, starts to look a lot more dicey. And people start to look at other world powers to maybe help create peace and stability across the region, as opposed to America, if America is no longer capable of doing it. That was the deal that we made in the post-World War II order.
It proves to their benefit, because if that strait's open, you have the free flow of maritime traffic and oil from the Middle East, as well as other products and goods. That is going to be good, not just for the Middle East and Europe. It is going to be good for the world, because it also sends a signal to China that what they're doing in militarizing those islands in the South China Sea will not be tolerated if they use that for a power projection purpose to try and control that region of the world.
Okay, come on. We don't have to pretend anymore, right? Like, we all know America would not be... America can't even defeat, like, Iran right now in a foreign war or whatever. Like, do you really think that America could do jack shit for Taiwan at this point? Like, come on, we can stop pretending, I think, at this point. Like, we can stop pretending. America is already, like, out of all of their missile interceptors. They produce, like, what, like 10 of their, whatever they're called. I forgot what they're called. Patriot missiles, or I think, right? They create like 10 of those a year or something. Like, you know, I think that we can stop pretending like America would be able to do like jack shit if China decided to militarily take Taiwan, okay?
World following an invasion of Taiwan.
We've got to go, but quickly, why isn't China or India, some of the other customers that are the biggest users of this strait, helping clear it?
I think, quite frankly, when you look at China, that's still a brutal communist dictatorship. They have proven themselves again and again to not be a competitor or an adversary, but in fact, an enemy of the United States. They have aided and abetted Iran. All you have to do is look at some of
Yeah, okay, but the obvious thing is that this benefits them. They're not like all of this stuff is impacting all of the people around them. It's impacting, and to some extent it's impacting them as well, but they can mitigate a significant amount of their energy through solar, through their stockpiles, that they have huge stockpiles or whatever, and they can get energy from elsewhere as well, including Russia. So like, so all of this is like all of this instability, like China is perfectly primed to benefit from all of it. So that's the primary reason that they're not going to get that involved, is because, yeah, this is fine for them generally. As long as America, like, I don't think they want the American petrodollar to completely crash or anything, which like might happen depending on what Trump decides to do tonight. But yeah, I think that all of this benefits China. So I don't know. It's not because they're like communist or whatever that they're doing this, or they hate America, like that they're just willing to suffer or something. No, they realize that this is beneficial to them from a strategic perspective, like what's happening right now. America's, you know, the meme of America stabbing itself like in the gut or whatever, and then China just looking at them like with a shocked face, like, why are you doing that? Like, that's basically what's happening.
the recent Wall Street Journal articles that support that. And at the end of the day, India doesn't have the power projection capabilities to come all the way to the Middle East to do those types of activities. They are a very good regional power and partner, but at the end of the day, those two countries need to stay on their own.
Commander, we've just got confirmation that Fox News confirming that Kharg Island has been hit. How significant is that development? What do you make of that news?
I think it's an excellent development. Everything we can do to take down any military capability on that island.
Didn't we already hit Kharg Island? Like the military stuff on Kharg Island? Why did we need to hit it again? That's my question. I don't know why we did it.
To destroy the IRGC military equipment and the forces there is going to give us an opportunity that, should we choose to exercise and invade that island and actually go on there in order to grab Iran by the economic throat, that is going to be a good thing. That capability has to be eliminated first in order.
Yeah, and then Iran just shoots unlimited drones and missiles at you while you just sit on there like sitting ducks for the indefinite future. Yeah, I'm sure that'll go great.
In order for us to get those Marines ashore.
Retired Navy Commander Kirk Lippold, thank you for your insight and a little bit on that.
This dude was bad. He had bad ideas, bad takes. He was, I mean, usually the stooges they bring on are pretty bad. But what was this guy's name again? Maybe I'll rewatch it or something later. But Kirk Leopold. I need to remember that if I see this dude's face again, because yeah, I mean it's very clear to me that he learned absolutely nothing from his stint in the War on Terror. Like he learned literally nothing. But yeah. Anyway, I thought they were going to talk more about the Kharg Island, like what actually happened, as opposed to just tossing it in at the end there. Fox News has been really they've been really clickbaiting me lately. Like they put something in their title and then they just mention it once and then they don't actually talk about it at all. I might have to stop using them as a primary source of news, guys, which sucks because like they have the most unhinged people and they're the most fun to watch. But okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, okay, here we go. We'll do a nice little transition here. Speaking of China, and I guess Russia also. So I guess today there was also a UN Security Council resolution on the Strait of Hormuz, I assume brought by America, for for it to be opened, or I would have to assume. And apparently, I guess China and Russia vetoed it. So let's watch this Al Jazeera video. It's a short one. This one is China, Russia veto UN Security Council resolution on Strait of Hormuz. Let's go.
Well, something we've had our eyes on in the past hour is at the United Nations, where the Security Council has failed to approve Bahrain's resolution on protecting shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. These are some of the latest pictures out of the chamber itself. Gabriel Elizondo joins us from the UN there in New York. And Gabriel, so a decision against approving this Bahrain resolution. Talk us through what this means.
Yeah, well, at the start, it's certainly a defeat for Bahrain, and certainly by a wider measure, perhaps a defeat.
So I'm a little surprised it was brought by Bahrain instead of by the United States, but okay.
For all of the GCC countries that were backing this resolution. Clearly, this resolution had been in the works for about 2 weeks. It had gone through 6 different iterations or edits on 6 different occasions because France, Russia, and China all had reservations about it over the last 2 weeks or so. But in the end, I'm
curious about France right now. I wonder why. Because I know also France got like one of their ships to be allowed through. So I'm like, I know that Macron behind the scenes is making deals with the IRGC to, allow French ships through. So it's like, I almost feel like they're just like they've just kind of accepted that fact, and like they might think that they can get more out of more out of this whatever deal that they have going on with the IRGC than this would even get them if it passed, I guess, if I had to assume.
This resolution was, in the words of some diplomats, watered down to try to appease particularly Russia and China. Bahrain thought they were able to get enough votes to get this through. They did. There were 11 of the 15 members of the Security Council that voted for it. 2 abstained. That would have been Pakistan and Colombia. So with the 11 votes, it would have passed. It would have received the 9 minimum needed to pass. However, and this gets to the however, Russia and China, being 2 of the permanent members of the council, have their veto power, and they decided to use it. They both.
Yeah, and this is why also, for the record, I don't agree with any states having veto power when it comes to like the UN Security Council resolution. So that's my personal opinion. I think that like if this international body is supposed to have any teeth whatsoever, it cannot be at the whims of individual states to just like unilaterally veto specific actions, because we saw what that did in Gaza, right? So like if this would have passed or whatever, from the pure like idea of international law, then I guess I would be like, okay, then they can, if they want to, send some ships over there to try to secure the Strait of Hormuz. But the problem therein lies is that like they still can't do anything, because if America can't open it, then nobody can. So those ships would just start, getting sunk to the bottom of the ocean by Iran regardless. But I guess it would have put more pressure on Iran to actually, try to maybe make some sort of diplomatic resolution regarding the Strait of Hormuz. But yeah.
Both did a double veto of this resolution, essentially killing it, so it will not be adopted. This resolution initially called for Article 7, which would have given member states authorization to use force to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Russia and China very much against that. They said, we will veto this as of 2 weeks ago. So that's why these negotiations went on for so long. The language was changed. Ultimately, what was voted on in the last few minutes was a version that said, strongly encourage states interested in the use of the Strait of Hormuz for commercial maritime routes to coordinate efforts in a defensive manner. That's much different than using force. However, Bahrain was hoping that this would be enough to get Russia and China at least to abstain and allow this to pass. Clearly, that didn't work. With the abstention, it's now gone down. So clearly, Bahrain will have to look in the mirror here, reassess how they managed this entire process. But clearly, the security...
Well, there's nothing you're going to do, I think, to get China and Russia on board. this is all strategically very beneficial for both of them. Russia is going to be able to sell their oil to Europe again, I believe, after this. Like, I think they already have removed at least some of the sanctions for that. China is, you know, like they're able to buy Russian oil already. They're very, you know, well positioned in regard to their energy, especially with their green energy as well. So, like, yeah, all of this, none of this would. Now, I think that if America started, you know, blowing up the energy infrastructure, like Trump has said earlier, or that he might do tonight, then they might, like, China and Russia might be a little bit more upset, but they won't be upset with Iran. I think they'll be upset with America because, you know, I think that would actually cause more economic harm and impact than they would really want to take in exchange for the strategic benefits that they're getting out of this current situation that America and Iran are in. So.
Council is very much divided, and clearly Russia and China, with this veto, showed that they are staunch allies once again of Iran and will use that veto power to back Iran when necessary. Russia and China both saying that this resolution was too strong in condemning Iran and too strong in the language against Iran, which both Moscow and Beijing say it's Iran that is the victim of the aggressor and not the aggressor here. Clearly, that is the diplomatic undercurrents.
I mean, obviously, Iran is like not the aggressor, right? Like, there's one country that flew or that like drove all their ships or whatever thousands of miles away from their coastline to go attack another country, and then there's the other country which is just sitting there, you know, defending itself and like shooting missiles at the proxies that America has surrounded them with. So yeah, obviously they're not the aggressor in this situation. And then also, yeah, if you look at the comments, they're saying exactly what I said. The USA vetoed multiple peace resolutions raised for Gaza. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, China and Russia. Yeah, remember vetoes against Gaza. Russia and China doing what America always does by vetoing any resolution. Yeah, exactly. And this is why there should be no unilateral vetoes whatsoever. But if that is the rules, then I don't care if they use them like in this way or whatever. I'm not some person who believes in like if someone else is like not playing by the rules, then you should still play by the rules out of principle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same argument we have in America with like Republicans all the time, where Republicans don't play by the rules at all. And then the Democrats go up there and they're like, well, we must abide by the parliamentarian if they say that this is a budgetary issue or whatever. It's like, shut the fuck up. Just play by the same rules that they're playing by. If they have no rules, then we have no rules. That's my opinion. But okay, let's see. Let's go to the next story on Iran. More Iran, people. Let's see. Where am I at? 45 minutes? Okay. Okay, so this one is from France 24. It caught my eye with how they titled it, but so it says, Iran positively reviewing Pakistan's request for a 2-week ceasefire, sources say. Now, I'm highly skeptical. I am highly skeptical that they are actually responding positively or who these sources are. This seems like this is the type of cope that we saw, like that we see a lot whenever America is trying to, you know, like, what's the way I want to phrase this? When it's trying to like manifest, when it's trying to manifest something into existence, then they will like Trump did this with Hamas a lot or whatever, where he would like try to manifest, or like with the Hamas-Israel ceasefire, he would try to like manifest a ceasefire by just saying that they're responding positively to it, even though like it would get denied multiple times and all that sort of stuff. Same with like Israel and Hezbollah. So I kind of am assuming that this is going to be a similar thing where they're just trying to like pretend it into existence. the ceasefire to happen, but let's go ahead and see what they have to say here on France 24.
News just in, the White House says Donald Trump has been made aware of a ceasefire proposal put forward by Pakistan. It comes as Iranians stock up on bottled water and power packs as the clock ticks down on the US president's latest ultimatum for a deal that includes reopening the strategic Strait of Hormuz, after warning that a whole civilization would die if the regime failed to agree to his demands. Trump said Tehran still had time to capitulate ahead of the deadline, which is set for just under 4 hours' time. Well, for the very latest, let's cross live to Fraser Jackson. He's our correspondent in Washington. Fraser, an astonishing threat earlier from the US president, but in the last few minutes, the White House saying that he's aware of a ceasefire proposal being put forward by Pakistan. Very difficult to say, as always, what Donald Trump might do next, but could this provide an off-ramp?
That is the word that I was about to say, Sharon. This is a very much needed off-ramp for the president here. He'd effectively painted himself into a bit of a corner and had dialed up the rhetoric significantly this morning at around 8 a.m. local time, posting that it was going to be the end of the Iranian civilization. But now an off-ramp being offered here by the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who took to Twitter to ask Iran and the US to observe a 2-week ceasefire to, quote, allow diplomacy to achieve conclusive termination of this war. Now, of course, that is what the Iranians want. They do not want a ceasefire agreement. They want a more long-term deal. Now, so this post on X that we saw from the Pakistani Prime Minister.
Yeah, everything that I've heard from the Iranian side is that they do not want to do any sort of temporary ceasefire because all that has done in the past is just given America and Israel time to rearm. So the way that they're looking at it right now is that they think, they think that like, that if they keep going, like, that they're going to cause so much damage. Like they're pretty sure that they're going to run out of interceptors, I think, is what they're guessing. And so they're thinking, why would we let them have some time to rearm themselves? And they're also thinking, like, with the way that Trump is acting, that like Trump is essentially begging for a ceasefire 24/7, like trying to do everything he possibly can to get them to like agree to some sort of deal. And so they kind of think that they have America on the back foot right now. And so to them, they're like, why would we stop? If we're, if we're militarily achieving all of the things we want, if we're getting sanctions relief, if we're able to charge money for the Strait of Hormuz, if we're trying to do this, or like, if we're destroying all of these military bases in the Gulf states and they're reconsidering whether they should keep them on their soil, if they're doing all of this militarily and they feel like they have America on the back foot, then why would they allow America to then, rearm Israel and rearm themselves with their interceptors and stuff and move a whole bunch more military assets around the region to be prepared for another conflict in 2 to 4 weeks? It's just, it doesn't really make sense. And I think that's probably how that's, from everything that I've seen, what they're thinking right now.
Said, to allow diplomacy to run its course, I earnestly request President Trump to extend the deadline for 2 weeks. Pakistan, who of course has been mediating this, in all sincerity requests the Iranian brothers to open the Strait of Hormuz for a corresponding period of 2 weeks as a goodwill gesture. The post then continues, we also urge all warring parties to observe that ceasefire everywhere for 2 weeks to allow diplomacy to achieve the conclusive termination of this war. So in that post then, he's asking Donald Trump to extend this deadline on Iran by 2 weeks, also asking Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz during that period, and asking both sides to stop these strikes and to stop the fighting as well. Caroline Levitt saying that the president has been made aware.
They're not going to give up that card that easily, like allow the Strait of Hormuz to be open in some sort of temporary ceasefire. Nah. If there's going to be a temporary ceasefire, it's going to be purely like military strikes are stopping during that time period, but they're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz, I would guess.
Aware of this proposal by the Pakistanis and that a response will come. So we're expecting now to either hear from Donald Trump on Truth Social or through Caroline Levitt herself, but this is a real off-ramp being given here to the president after he painted himself into a really tight corner this morning at 8 a.m.
We'll bring you all the details as soon as we do get any word.
That didn't say anything about Iran's response, though. Yeah, Pakistan has been proposing all kinds of ceasefire proposals to try and get Iran to the table. And from my understanding, America is always at the table waiting for Iran to come to the table. And Iran is just refusing to have any sort of like temporary ceasefire is kind of the vibe that I'm getting.
In from either the White House or Donald Trump. But Fraser, Iranian officials, the foreign ministry, this all comes after, it was remaining defiant, vowing earlier to prevail over what it described as brute force, saying that there would be an immediate and proportionate response if Donald Trump were to follow through with these threats.
Yeah, and of course, Donald Trump has been asking for a ceasefire deal with the Iranians. The Iranians have rejected that proposal for quite some time. They actually came back with a 10-point plan of their own that they wanted to see to get this war to an end. That was going to include a permanent end to the war rather than a short-term ceasefire, as well as ending other conflicts in the region. They also wanted a system in place to ensure safe movement through the Strait of Hormuz, the formal recognition of their right to enrich uranium, which, of course, Donald Trump has said that he does not want to see. He does not want Iran to be able to enrich uranium, especially to levels that could allow them to have a nuclear bomb. They've also asked the Iranians for the removal of sanctions imposed on them by the US and other countries and an end to Israeli hostilities on Hezbollah in Lebanon, and one of the proxy groups that, of course, Iran supports. But in exchange, they would...
And Israel, one of the proxy groups that America supports.
charge a toll of around $2 million per vessel that would make its way through the Strait of Hormuz once the blockade was lifted, and those funds would go towards rebuilding the infrastructure damaged by strikes on Iran by the US and Israel as well. So that was not holding water for the president, which led to the rhetoric that we saw this morning.
Well, then it's not going to happen. Then you're screwed. If you're not willing to accede to the demands of what Iran has essentially already accomplished militarily. Like I kind of said this before, but the reason why Iran's demands aren't that crazy is because they've already achieved them on the battlefield. Like they already have control of the Strait of Hormuz. They've already destroyed most of the bases like in the surrounding Gulf state countries. Like they're charging people to go through the strait that $2 million or whatever. Like so they're just really asking, like, we just want you to accept that we achieve these militarily, and so if you're not going to, then we'll just keep doing what we're doing. So yeah, and they've also gotten sanction relief from that as well.
Morning, but now there seems to be a bit of a halfway house here being offered by the Pakistanis, who are trying to get this hostility to cease, at least in the short term, and hoping that that gives enough space for more significant developments to take place. Of course, there's a very similar thing to what we've seen in other conflicts, including in Gaza, and it's, of course, something that we've been thinking we...
Yeah, and how's it working out over there? Israel has, like, violated and, like, attacked... Like, essentially, the ceasefire in Gaza was just... like the Palestinians have to stop fighting, but we can still bomb them whenever we want. Like that was basically how that one was. And I don't really think that Iran wants to go down that same direction.
We might see in Ukraine as well, but some time needed here to get the more concrete version solidified.
Thanks, Fraser. And as you said,
dude, these people keep clickbaiting me. It's so fucking annoying. It says Iran positively reviewing Pakistan's request for a 2-week ceasefire. And then it says source says, like they didn't say anything about that. They didn't say anything at all about about anybody in the Pakistani like leadership positively reviewing the ceasefire proposal. Like what? They didn't even cite like some dude on Twitter, some random like Twitter Iran media person saying that they're reviewing it. Like this is so annoying to me that I don't know. I feel like I've just been getting clickbaited a lot with these titles. So yeah, I don't know. I think that I just have a feeling that I just think that it's probably going to keep escalating. Probably. Like, I don't know if Trump will do it tonight or what, but yeah, there's probably going to be some more strikes in the future. But okay, let's get out of the world of Iran content. I'm tired of Iran content. I have to talk about it for like an hour every single day. It sucks. So, ooh, but this one looks fun. Okay, I'll save that one for tomorrow. Sorry, I just refreshed a homepage on a different thing, and it said, it's questions arise from U.S. rescue mission in Iran, and I had some questions, so I'll have to watch that one tomorrow. Okay, so guys, we're going to move on to local domestic politics in the United States of America, in particular in Michigan. I think it's for is it Senate or is it for an actual seat? One second. Abdul El Sayed. Senate is for Senate. Okay. Sorry, I got that confused. So, okay. So Abdul El Sayed is like kind of the left-wing, or the most left-wing person in it. And yeah, we're going to talk about like more Hasan derangement shit. I honestly thought this was going to be a non-story when it first came out. That one of the Senate primaries people, Abdul El Sayed, was going to have Hasan Piker come out and speak with him. Notorious champagne socialist, 9/11 deserver Hasan Piker was going to come out and stump for him or whatever, basically. And then all of these articles came out that were hysterical and cringe. And I thought, okay, someone is boosting this, but it'll go away in a day or two. And then it just kept coming up over and over and over again. And it's like entirely manufactured. Nobody in the Democratic base, or like the people who are going to be voting in a Democratic primary, give a shit about like the fucking controversy around Hasan. This is like drama slop, like who cares shit, right? But for some reason, they're still fucking talking about it. We're going back to Fox News, baby. But we're going to watch a Fox News clip with, I think they're going to interview Abdul El Sayed. This is Michigan Dem doubles down after rally with anti-Israel streamer. Yeah, also based, like everybody hates Israel now, so like doubles down after rally with anti-Israel streamer. You're gonna make your entire fucking audience like love Hasan if you frame it that way. You gotta be like Islamic extremist Hasan or something if you want to get your people to not like him. But just a word of advice for Fox and Friends here.
So a Democrat Senate candidate in Michigan is facing criticism this morning for planning a rally with anti-Israeli podcaster Hasan Piker, who says America deserved 9/11 and justified the October 7th attacks.
It doesn't even matter. None of this justifies that Palestinians have a right to dignity, a right to emancipation, a right to live free lives, free from this occupation. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Nothing justifies genocide. Like, nothing justifies it. Doesn't matter if there were atrocious acts committed on October 7th. We're still waiting for those prosecutions or whatever. We're still waiting for someone to come forward and actually say that it happened or whatever. But regardless, even if rapes did happen, then that does not justify genocide. Nothing justifies genocide. It's the crime of all crimes. It is the worst crime possible. It is systematic, like industrial destruction and death of a group of people based on their identity. Like, it's the worst. Yeah, nothing justifies it. So if Fox News here is trying to say that, the rapes actually did justify it or something, then they're wrong. That's a wrong thing to say. That's a wrong thing to think.
Democratic Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed joined
Oh, and also the America deserved 9/11 thing is kind of based. Come on, let's be real. Like, I mean, obviously he was kind of joking or whatever, but he was saying that, like, he was just talking about blowback, which I talk about blowback all the time. Like, it's a well-regarded, well-understood thing of when you mess with a group of people and you destabilize a region, indefinitely, there's a 100% chance that at some point someone is going to commit like a terrorist act on you. Like, it's a 100% inevitability. Same with the temple Israel guy who went and drove his car in there and was going to do like an attack. He just lost his entire family to the unlimited terrorism of the Israeli state. Like, so that was blowback as well. Like, it's just a thing that exists. We don't have to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Joins us now. Abdul, thanks so much for getting up this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Abdul, you've run a campaign where you've got a lot of young people supporting you. You've talked about gas prices, eliminating medical debt. But there has been some moments where a lot of people that are moderate Americans have disagreed with you. And I want to play this clip of
no such thing as moderate Americans.
When the Supreme Leader...
Americans' ideology is completely mixed up. It doesn't make any sense. So there's no such thing as center. Like, there's no right-left dynamic. Everybody's a mishmash of far right and far left policies all stewed together in their TV-addled brains. So there's no such thing as like a quote-unquote centrist or whatever.
The Ayatollah was eliminated, and this is what you had to say. Watch.
I also want to remind you guys that there are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today. So, like, I just don't want to comment on Khamenei at all. Like, I don't think it's worth even touching that.
Yeah, I mean, Khamenei was one of the most peaceful people in Iran, one of the most conciliatory to the West. Like, he is legitimately, like, the West will never have a person as peaceful as Khamenei and as willing to open up the doors to Western, negotiations and stuff as him ever again. Like, they killed the most peaceful dove that they will ever have in Iran's leadership position. So, yeah, no wonder I think a lot of people are a little bit upset about it. Like, Iran will definitely be more hardline and more, probably more zealotous or whatever. More, I guess, yeah, just more hardline and like less tolerant of dissent going forward, So, yeah, he was definitely like kind of holding back the hardliners to an extent for like the past 20 years, pretty much. So
Abdul, I guess my question would be, who are those people and why do you still want their support?
Well, fast forward 5 weeks on, I think all of us are sad today. Our gas prices are up over $1. We're fighting a war that is taking service members' lives, and we're paying our tax dollars to do it to the tune of $1 billion to $2 billion a day. So I think all of us right now ought to be sad. We just watched a beautiful package about Dude 44 Bravo and his heroic return. And the president said that we leave nobody behind, except for the entire American public is being left behind by a war that is unjustifiable and illegal. So I think I speak for all of us to say that we are worse off in this war than we were before. And I think all of 100%. Us really need to step back and ask ourselves what our dollar should be used for.
Yeah, and America is worse off in a strategic perspective as in terms of projecting force around the world as well. America is like looking like a clown show at this point where nobody, like, China is probably looking at this like, oh God, like it's going to be so fucking easy. Like, I did not expect them to be this bad at this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So even from their perspective as hawks in Washington, like, this is going absolutely terribly for them. So
I would ask you, Abdul, I think you're right. I think the polling suggested, I mean, that was Iran's goal. Stated goal was to put pressure on the gas prices. But specifically, who are the people within the community that are sad about the Ayatollah being dead? Because the peaceful Muslims that I know, including those that are in the Gulf state that are supporting this action right now, they reject him and they wanted him dead. So who are those people?
Why did they want him dead? He was the most peaceful dove in that, like, in the entire government over there. He was the one who had a fatwa against against nuclear weapons. Like this is just ridiculous, even from their own perspective. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, people should be sad that he was killed and murdered. Like, he was an elderly man who was like, yeah, the most conciliatory person to the West out of the entire like IRGC or whatever command structure.
People that you know that are sad, and why?
Well, look, I'm no apologist for any regime, including our own. And at the end of the day, the question is whether or not a leader focuses on his or her people. Clearly, the Ayatollah did not. And clearly, Donald Trump and this administration is not either. So again,
yeah, I mean, if someone came in and if someone came in and murked Trump in the same way that like they murked Khamenei, then like I'm sure that there would be some people out there who are like sad or whatever that Trump died, and like I might not be that sad, but I'm sure there would be people out there who are sad that like the fascist leader died or whatever. So I don't know, and like Trump is like a million times more evil than Khamenei was. Like, let's be real.
I'm going to tell you, they are white, they are black, they are Arab, they are non-Arab, they are Muslim, they're not Muslim. They're all the people who had to pump gas this morning to get to work and realize that they were going to have to end up paying tremendously more money because of an illegal, unjustifiable war. So the notion that the Ayatollah is dead.
He's better at talking than I am. This is a good, just keep going back to this. Who cares about the Ayatollah? Like that's a better way to do it.
One thing, but the notion by which our country did it, fighting a third conflagration in a third country in this year alone, that there is the problem. And I think we have to understand that in politics, in government, the means don't always justify the end doesn't always justify the means. And I think Americans of all stripes right now are unified by asking, what is the aim here and what are we doing?
Yeah, so I think most Americans remember the 17 Americans that died in 1983 at the death of Iran, 244 American service members in October the 23rd in 1983, 19 U.S. airmen in Kopar Bar Tower in 1996, and 3 U.S. Americans, soldiers in 2024 of January. I want to get to your big event that you...
Yeah, but who... Okay, sorry. I'm just going to let it play because this isn't the shit that I even watched this video for.
Going to have with Hasan Piker. He has said some things about 9/11. What do you stand on this? October 7th, he has blamed Israel for that. We know that they were attacked.
Well, that's just objective truth. Yeah, that's just objective truth that Israel played a big part in facilitating, you know, the October 7th attacks. Like, obviously, you know, I mean, that's also just blowback. Like, they committed unending atrocities, you know, did, you know, hundreds of October 7ths to the Palestinians over the past, you know, decade or whatever, right? You know, dispossessed them, humiliated them, you know, tried to destroy them as a people. And then they fought back on one day of resistance. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, and then also like Netanyahu literally propped up Hamas with all of the money that he sent to them because he wanted to counterbalance Hamas against the Palestinian Authority in order to try to keep the Palestinians divided. So like, that's a just straight up literal propping up of Hamas that like led to October 7th. If you want to be extremely literal about it and not like, you know, not talk about the decades of occupation before that led to it. But yeah.
Of course, I oppose rape. Of course, I don't think 9/11 was justified. But because you appear with somebody doesn't mean you agree with them on everything. Think about this. You have the president on the show all the time. He talks about grabbing people by parts of their bodies I don't think you would ever consider. And that doesn't mean that you wouldn't appear with him. My question to you is, when did we start bending to cancel culture? When did we start saying that cancel culture was okay?
Yeah,
because clearly on your show, you have a number of people who you don't agree with, including me. And I think it's important for all of us who want to win votes, who want to build America, to go and talk to anyone, anywhere.
Yeah, they are trying to just do classic lib era cancel culture, or like 2016 woke era cancel culture. And they're trying to pretend like it's not that, but it is that. Okay, it just is. Like they're I'm sure he's going to go into some spiel about how this is different. But like, obviously that's what it is.
We only have limited time, so I don't want to cut you off. But I'm talking about someone standing with the #1 state sponsor of terror. I'm talking about condemning the worst.
You mean America? I mean, as far as I know, Hasan hasn't said that he supports American terrorism abroad. Maybe I'm missing something though, but America is definitely the #1 state sponsor of terrorism.
Attack on American. If you want to vote in a country where we consider this event brought us to our knees, I'm talking about speaking to moral clarity specifically about that. I'm happy to have you on to talk about the President of the United States any other time, but will you speak to what he said about,
I just think it's,
excuse me,
it's important.
will you speak to what he said about 9/11
context.
and October the 7th?
Dude, who cares?
It's important to talk about context. I'm never going to agree that.
Also, Hasan is saying the same shit that like Fuentes says all the fucking time. Like, you don't see them going up and like complaining about people hanging out with Fuentes or like Tucker Carlson or whatever, right? Like, Hasan's literally saying like, I mean, obviously he's not saying it for the same reasons or whatever, but he's making these criticisms of, you know, of America's like a bit like America's policies that led to 9/11 or Israel's policies that led to October 7th or whatever. He's making those criticisms. Plenty of people on the right, even people that this guy's probably interviewed, make those exact same criticisms, but they don't give a shit. The reason that they give a shit is because he's Muslim and he's, you know, and that's why they're targeting him instead.
9/11 was justified. It was wrong. It was a horrible day for all of us. I'm never going to be okay with the innocent murder of civilians. I condemned Hamas and I condemned that attack on day one. The issue that you're trying to do is paint me out of context quotes, with out of context quotes taken out of context specifically to ask me these questions. And I'm going to play the same game with you. Why is it that you will not condemn the fact that the President of the United States talked about grabbing people by their body?
Or why do you not condemn Israel's like attacks on hospitals? Or why do you not condemn America's attacks on civilian infrastructure? Like, we do terrorism like it's significantly industrial scales that like Hamas or Iran or Hezbollah would literally never be able to do in their wildest dreams because they don't have the resources. Like, straight up, it's impossible for them to ever commit war crimes at the level that America and Israel do. So we should be the ones being condemned, to be honest.
Body parts. Well, and I would argue that it's all part of the same cancel culture game that we should not be playing. So I'm talking to your audience today because I think it's important to have a conversation that matters about the issues that matter today.
Sure.
And that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's not on the ballot, and that was litigated in 2016, and the American people re-elected him again. So we've gone through that. I want to ask you about some of your comments because you're the one that's running for office. The president is term limited. You said that ICE, it cannot be reformed, and they cannot be trained, and they should be defunded.
100%.
Do you still have that point of view?
Yeah.
I want you to ask yourself.
If you want to get elected in a Democratic primary, you better be saying that shit or else you're not going to win.
Marines are getting a bum deal right now because ICE is funded to a higher level than the U.S. Marines, and we're now fighting a war. Ask yourself if that keeps them safe. Ask yourself if it keeps you safe. They shot 2 people, one in the face, one in the back of the head. So no, you cannot reform using a child as bait. You cannot reform shooting American citizens because you can operate with impunity. So yes, absolutely, stand the American public for and a humane approach to immigration enforcement.
So you believe that the 10+ million, some of them, which we have captured that are terrorists, since they're the only service that can do the deportations, you believe all those people should stay in the country? Is that what you're saying?
Come on, Lauren, you're better than that. At the end of the day, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
so who's
ICE
going to deport them
in this particular...
Dude, we already have laws. If they're committing crimes, they'll get caught by the police. Like, this is so stupid. Jesus Christ. There's not some like special rule in America where if you're an immigrant and you commit a crime, you actually get to get away with it scot-free and the police aren't going to come arrest you because you're an immigrant. Like, that's not how it works. Like, we don't need a separate law enforcement agent to go after people for crimes they commit. We already have police. So that's just like fucking stupid, dude. And yes, there is a cute cat in the corner, and I need to look at that more often, man, because my cortisol is spiking way too high right now.
way, when you shoot people in the face, when you fund them to the tune of 185 billion, when they can walk around with impunity covering their faces, not actually being held accountable to the highest law of the land, which is our Constitution, that is wrong. You can have immigration enforcement. You can keep a safe and secure southern border, which I agree with, but not like this.
All right. We appreciate you coming on and taking the tough questions.
Shut up, dude. This dude sucks. He was so annoying. I get this Hasan shit is so fucking annoying to me. God, I can't wait till whatever slush fund decided this was a good way to spend the millions of dollars that they're spending on propping this story up. I can't wait for it to fucking like for them to get absolutely nothing out of it. I think it's counterproductive to their cause anyway. I think doing this shit makes even more liberals hate third way and hate centrist Democrats, man. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got here. What time is it? 1:17. Let me see if I can find a let's see if I can find a fun video. I'll just pull it up over here. You guys can look too. What do we got? Greens take the lead. Have you guys ever watched this Kurnow Damo guy? I watch him sometimes for like British, like, I guess I don't know how I would describe him. He's very like British anti-imperialist, I guess I would say. But every time I watch him, he just reminds me of some like the background is so like, I don't know, it's like so clearly a green screen, and the like it always just gives me like self-broadcasted TV or whatever, like, you know, when people like set up their own like kind of like old school like radio or like a satellite show or something, or like they set up their own broadcasting rig or whatever and they broadcast it to like some like TV station back in the day. They used to do that. Like that's the kind of vibe I get. What do we got? Joe Rogan not as smart as he thinks he is. That's a little bit too long, I think. What do we got? Is there anything just fun? Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not seeing anything too fun right now. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe check out the see if I can find any articles real quick. Let's see what we got on the For You page here. More Hasan-Gate, dude. Jeez Louise. That one's kind of funny. But Slate, you sometimes have to log into, so I might not read it. What do we got? What do we got? Let me go see if I found anything earlier, actually. Well, maybe I can do this one, actually. Let's see what this one's about. Let's see how long it is. This is a weird article. Maybe I can see 1 second. Because there were other stories related to this one. I don't really like the format of that article, so I'm gonna see if I can how do I do this again? Let me see if oh God, that's probably loud for you guys, sorry. I can't get it to I swear there was okay, well we'll just read this one. I thought there was another article of a different kind, but or like that wasn't in this weird ass format that I don't really understand like what this format is, but so I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. When was this? April 7th. This is Who Needs Looks Maxine When You've Got Catholic Maxine? The TikTok trend making religion great again. The reason that this one caught my eye is because I literally just read an article the other day about how the whole Gen Z religious revival was complete bullshit. And so I was like, okay, I do know that there's this weird thing happening where the white supremacists are going real hard for the Catholics now, or like the Catholic religion now, as opposed to the evangelical, like Protestant. So that's like kind of interesting to me, but I don't take any of this very seriously. I'm guessing, and also with the format that this is in, I don't even know if this is going to give me any good information, but we'll just read it. We'll see what happens, because I couldn't find any. I had some other stories that looked kind of like related to this when I was when I chose to add this one. I usually just add the Guardian ones because they're usually not gated by a login, and also they're usually pretty like decent, I would say. But this one, just the format is really weird. But okay. Some of the young Americans swept up. Oh wait, who is this by? Does it say? Yes, no, I don't know. Okay. Well, I guess maybe it's not by anybody. Maybe it's by an AI. Some of the young Americans swept up in the movement are looking for the meaning of life. Others for a new partner. Well, it's a broad church. Name, Catholic Maxine. Age, less than a year. Appearance, Catholicism, but jacked. What's with all this Maxine business anyway? So I guess this is an interview, if I had to guess. Or the format of this, at least, is in an interview type format. So I guess they're talking to somebody who is into Catholic Maxine right now. So we'll see what this Catholic Maxer has to say. Okay. What's with all this Maxine business anyway? Oh, don't concern yourself too much with the nomenclature. Maxine is just a Gen Z term for reaching your full potential. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have fun with the Maxine terminology. Right, so looks Maxine is just about boosting your appearance. Well, no. Looks Maxine is when young men go to genuinely wild lengths to try to resemble handsome Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants. Perhaps that isn't the best example. That is true. Looks Maxine, they really just destroy what would be considered a just like a normal attractive face or whatever. They do really like distort it to a degree that it's almost like comical. It is very drag like if you understand like drag aesthetic or whatever, where you kind of take the, classic attractive appearance of a woman in terms of like, full lips or like eyeliner or whatever, and then you just amp it up to like an almost absurd degree or whatever. Which I mean, I like the drag look or whatever, but it is like a very, over the top sort of appearance or whatever, right? It's a very like, it's just a very like boom, like right in your face sort of appearance, right? And I feel like that's kind of the equivalent of like what looks Maxine is for these guys. So Catholic Maxine isn't about trying to be as Catholic as possible. Not quite. Consider it a catchy term for young people discovering religion. Well, shouldn't it be religion, Maxine, then? I mean, am I wrong? I feel like it should be religion, Maxine, then, not Catholic Maxine. Well, that's nice. Well, that's nice. How did this come about? Largely on TikTok. Okay, yeah, I could have guessed that. Led by influencers such as 22-year-old Anthony Gross, whose 49,000 followers have come to lean on videos such as Everything I Consumed While Fasting for Lent, in which he stands around topless talking about all the coffee and Tic Tacs he's wolfed down. Okay, so it's just Christian thirst traps. These have existed for a while. I watched like apolitical content, like I feel like maybe like Danny Gonzalez or something did one, or maybe it was Curtis Connor or something, a video about yeah, Christian like thirst traps. These have existed for a while. It is like multiple years ago, where they just like don the aesthetics of Christianity, right? Like they'll wear a cross, or they'll like have some cringe like, text on the screen of like, other people are out there just trying to find the one. Little do they know I've already found the one. And then they point up to God or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be something like that, but it'll just be a shirtless dude wearing a cross. And I always found that so funny. But I guess this is like the same thing, but Catholic version. Okay. This feels quite broy. Of course, Catholic Maxine is for Theo Bros. Theo Bros. Isn't maybe I thought that was like Theo Von's what he calls his fans, Theo Bros, but apparently these guys already trademarked it. For what now? Or for what now? The Theo Bros wait, I don't even understand this question. Catholic Maxine is for Theo Bros. Oh, for what now? Okay, that's where it is. He's talking about Theo Bros. Theo Bros. One parishioner who spoke to the Washington Post described the Theo Bro as the extremely online religious man. That usually is a convert who experiences the faith in either a rules-based or power-based understanding rather than a service and community-based understanding. Yeah, it's just... Okay. I mean, it quite literally is what I said was going to happen with religion, which is that TikTok was going to destroy. TikTok was going to destroy any concept of religion. It is going to scrape away any of the core beliefs, any of the core systems, any of the core practices. It is going to push all of that to the side just to purely focus on the aesthetic and honestly the American like grind set culture or whatever, to like hustle culture, and just merge those two things, and then that's going to be the new faith of America, it feels like. Because like for people who don't know, TV fundamentally also changed American religion into a completely different animal than what it was before. And so like that's why I'm saying like I think TikTok is also going to end up like fundamentally changing religion in America in a negative way, in my opinion. But don't service and community form the core of Catholic belief? Maybe in your time, Grandpa, if you're Catholic, Maxine, then, as Gross puts it, a huge selling point is finding a potential partner. Oh, God. I always say that like Christianity in modern America is just putting on the aesthetic, and it's for like a cultural signifier, usually to either like project to other like your friends and stuff or whatever, like what your value set is, like as a Christian nationalist, basically, or to like try and pull chicks, basically. That's basically all it is, dude, at this point in time. It's our American Christianity is the most insane thing that has ever existed. I feel like the most insane religion that has ever existed. Of course. Hey, don't be cynical. If this is what it takes for people to flock back to churches, then so be it. Yeah, dude. What's your problem? Getting your dick wet is going to get people in the pews. Come on, man. Don't be such a square. And are people flocking back to church? Not exactly. A study last year found that while just 1% of adults in the U.S. aged 18 to 24 had joined the Catholic Church, 12% had left. Oh, so this is a U.S. thing. Oh, yes, absolutely. And it sits across the entire political spectrum rather than being something weird and slightly MAGA-ish. That isn't for me to say, aka, yeah, it's definitely MAGA shit, but it's Christian nationalist shit, I should say. It's not necessarily MAGA, but I think a lot of these people would align with MAGA for sure. However, J.D. Vance's new book, Communion, I thought it said communism, but Communion, Finding My Way Back to Faith, will be published in June. I'm gonna release a competing book that's called Communism, Finding My Way Back to Faith. I feel like communism is, pretty aligned with the Bible in terms of belief systems, much more than capitalism, at least. So will Catholic Maxine catch on elsewhere? Possibly, but let's not overstate it. In the UK, Gen Z is less likely than anyone to attend church of any kind. Can we make secular Maxine a thing? If anyone's going to make secular Maxine a thing, it's going to be me, guys. I'll be out there. I'll do the thirst traps on TikTok. I'll take off my shirt and I'll have a big, what's the secular symbol? Like a Darwin or something. Da Vinci, no, he was religious, I think, right? I'll just say like a Darwin. So I'll have like the guys that go from like monkey to to human or whatever, the evolutionary chain. I'll get that tattooed across my chest, and then I'll do some thirst traps on TikTok, and we'll make secular maxing a thing. How's that sound, everybody? Do say, dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. 1 John 3:18. Don't say. So these are just like, I guess, yeah, okay, don't say. But first, let us film a TikTok of us flexing in front of a mirror with our tops off. Okay, this was actually a much funnier article than I thought it was going to be. I was a little bit scared because of how short it was. But this dude, this Catholic maxing guy, he was pretty funny. And I got to, you know, I got to talk about religion again, which is, you know, as the secular maxer himself, I still think it's my duty to discuss religion from a non-religious, from a secular perspective. And also I like to make fun of the silliness of American Christianity a lot. So this was pretty good. I like this one. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's go over to x.com and then we'll call it, people. I'll hang out on x.com for maybe like 20-30 minutes this time. But I also got to get ready for my raid tonight. Okay. So this is Abdul El Sayed, which we just saw on Fox News, talking to that annoying ass host. And so, and so I guess here he is with Hasan. I assume this is where they probably had Hasan out for the rally that they were talking about.
What, 93 million?
That everybody was trying to cancel him for.
People were more offended that he dropped an F-bomb on Easter than they are about the fact that he talked about genocide of 93 million people, right? I don't care what you think.
That's classic America shit. Americans will be so offended by an F-bomb, but will not get offended at all if you say, I want to mow down hordes of brown people. It's like built into our fucking culture. It's terrifying.
About Iran, I don't care what you think about Iranians. They're human beings. So you're talking about wiping a whole civilization away. Why? Because you got into a war you never should have got us into, and now you're stuck in a quagmire, and the best thing you can do is rattle your saber? It's bullshit. I mean, it's like, it is. We just need to get past this question of like, what is the right political thing to say, and get to the question of like, what 93 million people.
Yeah. The scream I scrumped. Yes. I didn't know the past tense of scream was scrumped, but I'll have to use that in the future. What is this? Secure your loans. Oh, that's an ad. Come on, man. They need to put this ad thing in like bright yellow or something so that I can see it better. I'm old, man. I got a foot in the grave, okay? I can't be seeing grays on black. That's too, I need more contrast.
There is one country that benefits here. One. Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been talking about taking a war to Iran for the better part of 40 years, and he finally found a dumbass dumb enough to do it.
Yeah, I mean, true. Like, Trump did do it, but I don't know. It's also beneficial, like, assuming that America can actually accomplish what it wants to accomplish, like the complete destabilization and failed state of Iran or whatever, or regime change, whatever the case. It also does benefit the global capitalists, like the Epstein class. So yeah, there's that too. Let's see. Okay, here's Hasan stumping for Abdul. Let's see what he had to say. Let's see if this 9/11 deserver has what he has to say about it. I'm gonna start calling him that. Hasan says America deserved 9/11. I think Hasan deserves 9/11. Okay. I'm just kidding.
A lot of people reach out to me
Calm down.
over the course of the last 2 weeks, and they said, "Hey man, I'm really sorry that this is happening. I hope you get through it." I told them, "Fuck them." For the last 2.5 years, they smeared people like myself and people like yourselves and said that we were radical, said that we were wrong. And yet, We persevered and we understood the violence that was taking place. It was not that big of a sacrifice, especially in comparison to the sacrifice of the Palestinian people had.
Yeah, always remember, if you're morally, if you are, if you have your moral convictions and they are right and just and good, you will be vindicated with time. And obviously, I think most people are already on, at least in the Democratic primary voter base, are already on Hassan's side or whatever. So yeah, who cares what these people that are, spending millions of dollars from their slush fund to try to prop up this fake outrage cycle? Who cares what they're saying?
And the smear campaigns that started shortly after October 7 were obviously a lot more consequential.
Those were way worse.
More successful back then. But now I can easily say fuck them because I'm no longer alone. Neither are you.
Yeah. True. He's already been vindicated on that issue. And so, yeah, it was lonely back then. It was hard. It was hard being a morally good person and, wanting to protect Palestinians back then, because you were just shot down at every turn by people trying to, take away their humanity. It's at least a little better now.
Hold close to your chest. And that's exactly the attitude. That's exactly the steadfastness that you can bring to every conversation, to every step that we take in the right direction. And sometimes it's going to be electing a fighter that will stand alongside you and represent your interests rather than the interests of corporations.
Yeah, cool. Good speech. Okay. Congressman Rashida Tlaib asking to saying it's time to invoke the 25th Amendment. It probably won't happen, but you know what? We should try. We should try. Okay, let's watch this. Ryan Grimm, one of my favorite reporters, says, I can't with this. So we're going to watch it. Do they have a deadline here? Oh, is this in Israel? Oh, yeah, this is Hebrew, isn't it? Okay, let's see.
דדליין, סופר, לאחור. אולי מופלטות בחדר הדיונים של המשא ומתן יזרזו קצת.
I think this must be the deadline, the hours till the deadline or something. God, they are fucking freaks over there, dude.
וואי, זה חיי סמך לבב אנוש, ברור.
ואתם רואים כאן את ליאור ורוצלבסקי שחזרה אלינו כדי להגיש את המהדורה במשך 8 השעות הקרובות.
I don't speak Hebrew or anything, so yeah, I mean, this is just unhinged. I should follow Greta. Whoops.
The President of the United States just said that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. The President of the United States just said that a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. And no one is reacting. This speaks for itself. What the fuck is anyone even doing at this point? We have normalized genocide, total annihilation of entire people, the systematic destruction of the biosphere, which we are all depending on to survive, and that corrupt, racist war criminals can act with complete impunity. But even though we have allowed far too much so far, it is not too late to say stop. If we don't, we shouldn't fucking be able.
Yeah. Yep. It really does suck living in America sometimes, because it feels like we have no impact whatsoever. Like, we tried so hard to not allow these things to be normalized in the wake of October 7th. And you know what? We tried our best, but we did fail. And that's, I blame a lot of that on just the general, cattle brain of the average American or whatever. But they all allowed it to happen as well. And most of them don't even care that Donald Trump is is threatening essentially like genocidal actions against the Iranian people. So, yeah, I mean, it's sad to think. Greta Thunberg has, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. She when she first sprung onto the scene, I've heard people say this before, like they were worried that she would be corrupted by liberalism and like the liberal influences who wanted to co-opt her into their you know, their like slow, like we need to, you know, progress but slowly, right? We got to do everything in incremental fashion. We don't want to go too far, and we also have to you know, cater to the racists and the bigots all the way along the way or whatever, right? And I was just so happy that she decided to, you know, just go out there and have like radical politics, because she could have made bank, man. She could have been a multi-millionaire if she decided to just allow herself to be corrupted by you know, by those influences that corrupt a lot of people who spring onto the scene like that. So I'm very proud of her. Let's see what we got here.
Imagine.
Tucker Carlson is calling on U.S. military officials and those close to President Trump to refuse any such orders and, if necessary, resign or take action to prevent him from accessing nuclear launch codes if he considers a nuclear strike on Iran. That's not going to happen. But you know what? Go for it, Tucker. It is now a time for choosing. The era of trying to be the reasonable voice on the inside is over. Anyone with an ounce of integrity should follow the lead of Joe Kent and resign with honor or take immediate public steps to forestall disaster. It's not going to happen, man. This is a country like raised and designed to put the most radical, insane, crazy ideologies in the positions of highest power. Like this is how our entire system of government was made. Like yeah, I'm sorry, that is just kind of the way it is. What do we got here? What is this? Ah, Jesus, dude. Oh, I probably can't listen to that. Sorry, peeps. Oh, God. Okay. This is one of the most resilient acts the world has ever seen. The people of Iran are forming human chains around their power plants and bridges as Trump threatens to drop a nuclear bomb and end their civilization tonight. Here, we'll watch it. Okay, it is impressive that they would be willing to put their bodies on the line like this. However, do not, I'm telling you Iranians right now, do not underestimate the amount of mega violence that America will be willing to put your civilians through. This will not stop them. They will blow all of these civilians to smithereens. I've already seen them pre-justifying it, saying that Iran is forcing them to go out there as human shields or whatever. Like America will not give a flying fuck if you built your entire nuclear plant out of like infants or something. They would still blow them the fuck up. Okay, they do never underestimate the barbarity and brutality of America. So that's just my advice to you people out there. Okay, you're very brave. You're very brave. Okay, what is this? The most unlikable people on the internet tier list just dropped. After that performance of the new Mr. Beast video, they ranked Rakai #1 above Hassan Abi, Clavicular, Andrew Tate, and more. Okay, who of these people do tolerable? You put fucking Sneeko and Jake Paul and tolerable. Okay, Destiny, I've said before, Destiny is like the human embodiment of the general concept of annoying. Like, he is the most annoying person that exists. Like, and why the fuck is Piers Morgan up here? That's Piers Morgan, right? who is this person and why do they have the weirdest, most like insane selection of people to go into this tier list? Like Piers Morgan is just a host of a news show. Okay, but anyway, we are in a spiritual and intellectual crisis. People really have to stop getting their news. Oh, sorry, I bumped into my mic. People really need to stop getting their news coverage from crypto casino funded drama channels. Yeah, I don't really understand who all of these people are. I would guess that this is from an era of like slop tube that I'm glad that I'm not a part of, to be honest. I hope to never be on this list. I hope to never be on it. What else we got? Whoa. Yeah. I mean, if you want to sell out a room, I mean, he probably would have sold it out anyway, but if you want to sell out a room, bring in Hasan. I did hear there might be, well, I don't know, maybe. Never mind. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, so I'm not gonna. Okay, let's see. So this is Kyle Kalinske being a jealous little hater, like he loves to be. One of the funniest thing about Kyle, like I like his show, but he is such he's such an I told you so kind of guy. Like he really wants people to like he really wants his enemies to like drop everything that they're doing and say, I'm sorry, you were so right. Which is so funny to me because like I really don't think you should give a shit. Like whether they give you you were right or not is kind of irrelevant. But let's see him crash out here about Alex Jones stealing his whole flow, word for word, bar for bar.
I am in the twilight zone right now. I am officially in the twilight zone right now. And I'm sitting there watching Trump wreck MAGA, wreck the Republicans, wreck the world economy, maybe wreck the planet physically. And then I'm just looking over at the Democrats smiling and giggling and everything else when they did nothing in Congress to block this.
Yeah.
Playing with fire, gambling again. There should be a coalition of Republicans and Democrats, and they should vote in on the war powers and say you don't have it, and they should cut the damn funding of this. My God, what's it going to take Trump ending the world? They
should do that. They're not going to because the Democrats are also on board for this war, unfortunately. The vast majority of them. Some of them are good. Ro Khanna is good, I think. Let's see this one.
Fairly reasonable. Do you believe that it was not insulting and in violation of everything we believe in to threaten to wipe out 91 million Americans? Would Ronald Reagan have ever done that? Would any other American president have ever threatened to wipe out 91 million people? I don't think Reagan did that at the height of the Cold War.
I guess what I would
FDR
say
probably didn't do that even when we were fighting Nazism.
What I'm looking at is...
No, but answer that question, Martha. Would FDR have said, let's just wipe out the German people?
I can easily answer your question. I mean, we know who tried to actually wipe out entire populations in World War II.
Yes,
we
Hitler.
know the kind of backbone and spine that it took on the part of the United States of America to end those tyrannies.
With morality.
But what I'm seeing is someone who is
Donald
standing
Trump
up.
has no morality.
I think you have to. I'm kind of surprised, actually, that people haven't, that you don't get how the language works.
I get it if he's a real estate dealer. I don't get it when you're president of the United States with the inheritance
but
of people
you're more concerned
who
about
scaled
the
cliffs of
language
Normandy.
than the outcome.
No, I'm concerned about our values. I'm concerned that no American...
Okay, but when your language is, I'm going to commit genocide, and there's nothing you can do about it or whatever, that's... those words do matter. I'm sorry to tell this lady. I don't know why she thinks that that's just like, just like bluster or something that Trump's doing. No, it's like, yeah, that's, that's a bad thing. We shouldn't, that in and of itself is a crime. Like he should technically be in The Hague. Like, especially, I think it's if he does anything to implement the killing of the Iranian people, or the killing of Iranian civilians after making that claim, he should be in The Hague for like ever. You know, I already think he should be in The Hague for a lot of other things, but
president would have done this. Do you think Ronald Reagan would have used this language?
No,
Do you
because
think
Ronald
FDR
Reagan isn't President
Do you
Trump.
think
and
Abraham
President
Lincoln
Trump
would
is an
have?
FDR.
Do you
Abraham
think George
Lincoln.
Washington would have?
I'm
Do you
saying-
think he said, let's wipe out the British people?
So you
Donald Trump has compromised every moral
But let me
standing
ask-
we have
okay,
as
let
a
me ask you
nation. What
something.
makes America different?
you know, pretty good, pretty good. I mean, it is hypocrisy
Fairly
shaming or
reasonable. Do you-
whatever, which is like not that not that important, I guess. Okay, guys, I'm gonna look for something funny and then I'm gonna get out of here. Let me find something funny. If this is funny, okay, maybe I'll go for another one after this if this is funny, because I didn't expect to find something funny right off the bat. But okay, everybody, this is Justin Boldagi, and he's saying, he says, telling everyone how impressive my first gay bareback orgy is. Let's listen to it.
They came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. They came in so fast.
Well, yeah, that's a pretty good description. I'll like that one. 252K. Wow. Yeah, no wonder. Okay. Oops. I don't know if I can listen to that, but this is the Iran embassy. The Iranian embassies have been going hard, man. Their meme game has been crazy. So this is POV, Iran's geopolitical situation at this moment. And it looks like some sort of, I would guess this is a Chinese game show maybe, but let's go ahead and watch it. Oh, America can't do it. Oh no, oh no. And now Israel is just throwing her head into the ground. Oh man. Yeah. Okay, well that seemed fair enough. Gay Triads, They Triads, and Slay Triads. New episode of I've Had It out now. Cool. Oh wait, this is that she went on I think she went on Hasan's stream or the Fear and stream or something. Okay. Maybe this will be funny because I always think Americans' conception of like the political spectrum is like so bonkers, but okay. What American people think the political spectrum is. Far right, Trump. Right, Bush. Center, Bloomberg. Left, Warren. Far left, Sanders. What it actually is. Far right, Trump, Bush, Bloomberg. Right, Warren. Center, Sanders. Left, far left. Anybody here gets killed by the CIA. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I would have probably put bless you. I would have probably put, yeah, Trump and Bush and Bloomberg, they are all far right. Warren is just an average, like, liberal, like a Democrat, I guess, which I consider the Democrat to be a center-right party, so I'd say that she's like right in between center and right. And then Sanders, I wouldn't say that he's center. I'd say he's center-left because he is a socialist. And I'd say anything that is anti-capitalist, even if it's not that very far anti-capitalist or radical in that regard, I would say is like going to be to the left of center, just generally on the general political spectrum. What do we got here? 15 planes have left Tel Aviv over the past 30 minutes. The Israeli government has fled something big as I always take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, whether the whether the Knesset is fleeing, but I do think that they would, if they did have reason to worry that that something big was going to happen or whatever. I do think that they would. Now, I don't know if they did or not, or if they did, it might only be the, Netanyahu and shit or whatever, but I guess there's no audio with this one. But also these, the online war analysts, I always take their stuff with a grain of salt. So someone needs to do it. Caroline Kwan. Yeah. What's she talking about? I don't know. What do we think she's talking about, people? There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of things that need to be done, if I had to say. Here, I'll just say, I think there are a lot of things to be done. There you go. Okay, what do we got? Oh, I forgot I'm looking for something funny. Okay, if I see something funny, that's going to be the last one. So let's see. Kamala Harris says, the president of the United States is threatening to commit war crimes and wipe out a whole civilization, all because he started a disastrous war of his own making and had no plan and no strategy for how to end it. This is abhorrent, and the American people do not support this. Trump's recklessness is needlessly putting our brave service members in harm's way, destroying America's global standing, and making life even more affordable for unaffordable for the American people. We must all stand against this and oppose funding this illegal war of choice. And then Savvy Sab says, you should have said something when Biden did it as well. Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. Yeah, the president is threatening. Yeah, because Biden didn't just say he was going to wipe out a whole civilization. He actually went through and gave material support to the country that was doing it, which is worse. So far she has done worse than Trump when it comes to committing genocide. So yeah, because she was the vice president at that time. Let's see what's going on here. A lot of Hasan haters are going to look really stupid today. I warned them to stop this cancellation campaign. Alas, some people just need to learn the hard way. Yeah.
Immediately, he's the man of action.
Yeah, I mean, Hasan is just incredibly popular. Anywhere that he goes, you're going to get all of the Zoomers out. So I think, yeah, that's why you should never listen to those centrist types. Sock done left. What's that? Okay. Can centrists be serious? Over 90% of socialists voted Harris. Trump doubled fertilizer prices. 50 million will enter food insecurity, yet centrist Dems still vote for Trump nominees. No, they didn't, he said. And then SDL said they did. New England polls. Yeah, I don't know. This is hard to read. That's too much stuff. I'm looking for something fun. Wow. If that's true, that's kind of, just desserts or whatever. Israel loves doing this girl boss shit. Oh, we're going to we're going to brutalize these Palestinians. And we're going to do it from in a feminist way. And so they love doing this shit. So yeah, if she, it's really just perfect irony for someone who brutalized them in this way, committed war crimes or whatever, then got, her girl boss face permanently disfigured or whatever. I mean, hey, that's part of that's what happens when you, when you are in the Nazi army. You might get hit. You might get hit. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Let's find something funny. Okay, people, let's find something funny. Okay, wait. 38 minutes ago, we got some breaking news, I think. Let me go ahead and read this. This is from @RealDonaldTrump on Truth Social. Based on conversations, I'm not going to do the Trump voice for this one. It's too long. Based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agreed to, wait. and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay. And Sagar says Taco Tuesday it is. Here's the thing. And also he points out pending Iranian approval. I still don't think that Iran has responded to Pakistan. Pakistan proposed this 2-week idea to both Iran and America. And Donald J. Trump is now just using that as an excuse to be like, okay, we're entering negotiations. But we'll see if Iran keeps like sending missiles or whatever, then this 2-week ceasefire is like nothing. It's like, it's not a real thing. They haven't entered into anything. So we'll see about that. But it does look like the world gets to live another few days until the markets close before potential nuclear Armageddon. So there's that. Okay, let's find something funny. Come on, guys. It can't be that hard. Can't be that hard. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to find a funny one to end on. Let me see what we got. Come on. Why don't I have anything funny? I already wasted my funny one. It was right after I said I was going to end when I found a funny one. I was like, that's too soon. But now I'm like, I should have. Let's see here. What do we got? Man, he is going ham on these potholes, man. I'm saying right now, those potholes, like Mamdani, he's going after potholes like Israel goes after civilians. The potholes need to create a resistance movement to, sit down and attrit the Mamdani, terrorism against the potholes. But let's see. Okay, what do we got? That's an ad. That's okay. That's the line. Okay, let's watch this. This is a comedian, I think. I'm pretty sure this is a comedian. And if there's one thing I know about comedians, it's that they're supposed to be funny. So if this is funny, then actually, I'm just going to go and say it. This is going to be the last one. Assuming that I can watch it if there's no copyright stuff going on.
Iran made an AI music video trolling Pete Hegseth. Not gonna lie, that shit slaps, dude. It's better than Kendrick versus Drake. Like, this is beyond rap beef. This is country beef. Or lamb, sorry. Keep it halal. But this video is all done in Legos, which is at first like a trip because they're like, oh, Iran has Legos too. They're just like us, And Legos really are universal. They're for humanity because they're all one color, yellow. The color we're gonna be after the nuclear war, right? And it appears that they wrote the lyrics because they're very specific. The opening line is, Pete Hegseth, this one's for you punk-ass racist bitch. That's the opening line.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that's great. That's great.
Tupac's hit him up, and then instantly they're like, straight from Iran. I would have done straight from Hormuz, but that, that's just my personal. And then they started going through Pete Hegseth's resume. I'm like learning things I never knew about Pete Hegseth from Iran. They start by attacking his alcoholism, which is just funny because this is coming from guys who've never had a drink in their life. It's like alcoholic versus halalcoholic, And then they start making fun of Trump. They call Trump sucker and BJ Queen.
Is that for Clinton? For Big Bubba? I'd have to assume that's
It makes your head explode when you realize this is coming from hardliners in Iran. This is what happens when you murder their religious leaders. Things get a little loose. That writer's room is out of control. They're like, hit him with a BJ Queen. And then they're like making fun of us. They're like, you thought our rockets only reached 2,000 kilometers? Ha And they're like showing it traveling across the ocean. You're like, oh, They're like, we got range. It's like, yeah, you actually do, talent-wise, too. And then they show like the AI imagery of the missiles hitting places in the United States. And this is disgusting that they use AI. Like, support local artists. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna show images of bombing us, do it organically.
To be fair, I don't think Iran has any intercontinental ballistic missiles. So rest easy, people. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
I do not support AI art because it takes jobs away from artists like me, okay? But apparently I make one exception, and that's for war propaganda videos. AI uses a lot of water. That's probably why Trump wants to bomb.
Well, no, war propaganda videos when it's like the defensive side. I don't like it when our side also makes like AI ass propaganda videos.
Water plants, because he's like, these AI videos need to stop. Apparently this is how war is fought in 2026. You know that famous Einstein quote where he's like, I don't know what World War III is going to be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Somebody call Einstein, tell him it's AI music videos. You know, Pete saw that video, he went straight to the bar. He's like, I only know one way to deal with this shit. And you know that hurts Trump. Trump loves AI videos. He put out his own. He saw this. He's like, oh, that's how they do it. The Trump administration can't.
That is true. I'm surprised at how incredible the AI videos that Iran is doing in comparison with the absolute trash that our government does when they put out their Iran videos.
Pete, the only musical talent they have is Kid Rock. It's like bringing a rock to a gunfight. You're f***ed, dude. Our high-up Pentagon officials see these videos and they're like, oh, we didn't see that weapon coming.
It's also funny because they have to watch it. Like they, as a part of their like, they have to know everything, like all the intelligence from Iranian state media or whatever. And so that there is some dude who just has to sit there and watch Iran just like shit talk their entire organization or whatever, and just like write down bullet point by bullet point everything that happens or whatever to give to his superior officer. That would be a shitty job, dude.
Put all these billions of dollars into anti-missile defense systems, but there's no anti-AI music video defense systems. This is the first time I'm ever seeing a war the United States is fighting where the majority of Americans are cheering for the enemy. You know, when Iran's AI music videos are winning over the American public, you're losing the war, okay?
Yeah.
End that war today. Trump, I know you want the oil. I know you want the Strait of Hormuz. I know you're doing it for Israel, but just chill and let go.
That was a pretty good bit. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's gonna be it, everybody. Thank you for watching the stream. If you're watching the VOD, love you too. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. This has been Technically Clay, and the stream is technically over. Bye bye.